The concerns about the CO2 injection system from leak savers has been heard. They saw the comments and they understand that not everybody is okay with possibly pumping CO2 into their refrigerant circuit. They told me that was refrigerant grade CO2 and they have put it into plenty of systems and haven't had a single problem with any of them. But to avoid any confusion in the future and to make it extremely easy for anybody buying the Leak Savers product, they sent me over this. This is a sealant injection hose. This is a dual ball valve hose that you can use to inject the leak seal into a system using the high side of the system you're working on. Which takes care of two things. You do not have to pump the sealant through your gauges and you do not have to use a refrigerant tank as a chaser. To demonstrate this hose, I'm going to be injecting this into this TempStar unit without using the CO2 gun or my gauges. So the leak saver needs to be injected into the suction side. So the first thing we need to do is hook up to our high side and then purge the line. Alright, so we're just going to hook up to the high side real quick with one side. It doesn't matter which one. Got it on. Gonna open it up. Just need to purge the line real quick to make sure we don't have any air in it. Good to go. We want to make sure we don't have any air inside of the line that could follow the leak saver into the unit. Alright, and we're gonna hook up our leak saver to the hose. And we're gonna hook it up to the system. There you go. That is your entire rig. This is the entire setup. Basically, we're just going to be pushing pressure through the hose into the back of the leak saver and then pushing it into the system, and then we can shut it off and not bleed straight into the suction line with our refrigerant. Quick little shot. Super easy. That's it. Now it's the same thing as taking apart a normal set of gauges. Shut off your high side. Open up your suction side. Let it bleed. And then take it apart. Use fast fingers so you don't let any refrigerant out there you don't need to. Using this hose means that there's no risk of any CO2 getting in the system from the cartridges. You do not have to use your gauges in order to flow the leak saver in, and you do not have to bring out a refrigerant tank in order to push this in at all. You already have the system, why not just use the refrigerant it's already got? They also have this 90-degree fitting that will fit onto a mini split so that you can add the leak saver to a mini split if you would like. Alright, now that I showed you how to put it in, let's talk about this product a little bit more. You might be wondering, how does this stuff work? Well, inside of these tubes, this is your additive for your refrigerant system. Basically, this is going to flow with your refrigerant and it's going to find leaks in your system. How does it do that? Well, as the refrigerant flows through the system and all of the piping, eventually it's going to come across a little hole, and then this liquid, this dye, is going to react with moisture and air. So when it finds that hole where everything, because it's pressurized, is going out, it's going to find that hole, react, and then seal up that one little hole. Now, of course, we're talking pinhole size leaks in the system. This is way more than you're going to need for one little tiny hole the size of a needlehead that you have refrigerant leaking out of. So what happens after you're finished with the leak? Well, all of this stuff will just remain inactive in your system and just flow through normally until maybe you have another leak in the future, or it just does nothing. Hopefully nothing, because we don't want any leaks in your system. There were a few questions that were asked in the comment section of the last video. Does this work on cars? What refrigerant does this work on? And can I use it in a refrigerator? Does this work on a car? Yes, it does work on a car. You can actually go to their website and find the sealant for your car, plus you can find the fittings for the refrigerant that you're working on. You can find an acid scavenger, a moisture remover, and just a regular dye injection in case you're looking for a leak with a UV light. Does this work on refrigerators? Yes, this does work on small residential systems like refrigerators, little ice makers, stuff like that. They also have leak sealants that you can put into a refrigeration system for commercial and large industrial applications. They also have a marine section, which I'm probably never going to be able to see because I do not know someone who has a boat like that. What refrigerants does this product work with? That's super easy. It's all of them except for ammonia. So if you're looking for this product at your house, the answer is yes, it will work for you. Right now at the time of recording, the only refrigerants out there are R22, 410A, R32, and 454B. This product will work with all of them, so you're taken care of. Now let me explain some of the product lines to you. You have mini split ones, some that is just basically leak saver small system and then leak saver UV small system. The difference is, one, cost. The second difference is you're actually going to be able to put that in and then use a UV light after a certain time in order to try and find where that leak is coming from if you can't find it on your leak detector, bubbles, or anything like that. And here we have the sealants for up to 5-ton systems. Pretty much all your residential systems that's not a mini split. This is the base leak saver. It's going to go into your system, solve your leak, solve your problem, and you're good to go. Nothing fancy, does exactly what you want. This is the leak saver UV. You're going to want to use this when you have a problem leak that you cannot find with bubbles, sniffers, or anything like that. What you do is you put it into the system, you put refrigerant into it, you top it off so that it's going to cool the customer's house for as long as possible. You're going to let it sit for a couple days, do its job, and then a couple days later you're going to go in, get your glasses on, get your light on, and you're going to be able to use that light to search the outdoor unit, the indoor unit, maybe the line set depending, but you're going to try and find where you get that big hit of fluorescent light. Boom, there's your leak. It should have been solved right then and there by the sealant, but if not, you at least know where your problem is. And finally, we have the Leak Saver Ultimate. This is actually for everything. This is for your air conditioning, automotive, and refrigeration systems. This is the sealant, the UV dye, and a dryer inside of it. If your system was ever compromised and you had moisture in your refrigerant circuit, you're going to want to add this. This will solve your leak, add UV, which we already talked about, and convert any moisture over to a synthetic oil that will just flow with your refrigerant and not damage the internals of the compressor. Here's another question. Will this work in my system? Let's talk about it. So if you're here, you already know you have a leak in your system. Well, how fast does the refrigerant leak out of your system? Is it within the first 24 hours that the refrigerant is introduced? If it is, just stop and you need to replace something big because that is a huge problem. If you find that you go months without needing any refrigerant, then this is going to be key for you. Instead of talking about the size of the hole that your refrigerant is leaking out of, Leak Savers goes by time. So if your system is not running out of refrigerant within 7 days, then this product will work for you. If your system is running dry super fast, then you just basically need to have another conversation with whoever is fixing your system because you have a massive problem with a massive leak. And this product is not going to help with a leak that serious. I seriously don't know why I never came up with the idea for a double ball valve hose. I have been injecting this for years by grabbing a tank of refrigerant, lugging it over to the system, and then using another hose to put it in. This is just so much easier. Let's be real, air conditioning repairs are not cheap. So if you want to do more research, which I highly recommend, I'm going to leave the link to their website in the description below. Also, please feel free to leave a comment down below if there's any information that you need that you can't find on their website or I didn't go over, because I do talk to them quite frequently and I can get you some answers. I want to give a lot of credit to Leak Savers because it's not often that a company looks at the comments from their customers and says, hey, we can do something different. We can implement a different way that eases everybody's minds. That doesn't happen that often, and it's really good to see in this day and age. Best way to support the channel is to hit the like button, subscribe to see more in the future, and I'll see you on the next one.